Welcome to the This and That Plus Cat podcast. Here on my podcast, we will talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And of course, I'm your host, Kat.
Usually what I've found in my life is that when people do those things to me, somehow it all circles around. God takes care of it.
Hey y'all, welcome to this episode of This and That Plus Cat. Stop laughing. Okay. Hey y'all, welcome to this episode of This and That Plus Cat. Today we are joined by Ms.Clark. And we're at Lake Okahumpka.
We're at Lake Okahumpka in Wildwood.
That.
Didn't hear it.
I said Lake Oka. Okay, anyways.
It's pretty.
Hi, Ms.Clark.
Hello.
I haven't seen you in a while.
I think because maybe you graduated.
That's probably it. So what you been doing?
Well, I spent the summer with my daughter in Sydney, Australia, and in Tasmania. So that was always an adventure.
Yeah, that's cool.
And yes, it was. Literally, it was like 60 degrees, so it was nice.
That's way better than Florida.
Yes, I came back to this hot box. So it was really nice. It's winter during that time, and then we spent a lot of time in Tasmania. So it's in the Hobart area, hiking. Took a cruise, saw the tallest sea cliffs in the southern hemisphere. So that was cool.
It's a vibe.
It's great.
That sounds cool.
It's great there. It's hard coming back every time. Hard coming back.
So why do you come back? Because
I have to pay bills. I'm still employed.
I guess that makes sense.
Only got 5 years left to retire.
Oh, I bet you're looking forward to that.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I see you got your little knee brace on.
Yes, it's from hiking. And then today I pretended to love yard work. And so I was out there and...
Not sponsored, guys.
Yeah.
Not sponsored by the knee brace.
Yeah, because I bought this in Australia because we were doing some intense hiking and being here in flat Florida, and then you go to places like that, puts a lot of strain, and it's an old injury, so it started flaring up, plus I'm getting older, so things that flare up a lot. The older you get, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Eventually I'll know. Yeah.
So did that for the summer. That's about it. I mean, at the end of the school year, I did get up to Tennessee, did some hiking up there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that place. That's my retirement area.
So how do you afford all this on like a teacher salary?
I don't. So I have multiple side hustles.
Okay.
To pay for things. And yeah, I'm not doing none of this. And I don't live a life of luxury. I live very simple and minimum. I drive a 2009 Honda Civic right there with 245,000 miles on it.
Oh, wow.
and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with living small and simple because I need to be able to see my kid. Yeah.
That makes sense.
In the Tennessee, that's just the family property, so there's no income on that. My brother and his wife hold that down.
Okay, so how do you maintain all these side hustles that you have going on?
I don't know how I do it. I honestly, I've asked myself that multiple times because I'd have all these side jobs and then yet be a sponsor of 3 clubs, teach full time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I do it. And even when I was younger, going to college, I always worked through college, raising my kid, being a single parent. I don't know where that energy comes from. It's got to be some, a heavenly energy to get through all that.
I feel that.
Yeah, I can't, and now that I don't sponsor any clubs and I look back and it's not as busy. And I'm like, man, how did I do that? I don't think I could do it again because it's a lot. It's a lot on my brain. It's like the miles on my brain are like the miles on my car. It's got a high mileage. I can't remember. So I try to remember things, but sometimes But not in a dementia way. Just I think my brain just puts things,
in files.
Yeah, archive, and then
and then once it's necessary, it comes out.
Yeah. It's that, nothing's permanently deleted. It's just archived. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay. What'd you do this summer?
What did I do this summer?
Yeah.
Nothing.
See, you don't know. You can't remember either. So
I don't know.
And I've got more miles on me.
I mean, I do a lot of stuff. Like, I was getting ready for college, I guess you could say. And I was getting ready to start a bunch of things, but it was kind of just a waiting period of me trying to get prepared for everything. I mean, now I'm doing it all, and it's like, I got one thing this day, one thing the next day, and it's just like, people ask me how I do it, and I'm like, I don't know. I just do.
Well, yeah, that's exactly, yeah. There is no, how-to directions. You just go.
Yeah.
Go until you can't go, right?
Yep.
But you don't have, at school where you had 7 subjects either.
No.
Every day of the week,
but
7 teachers, 7 subjects.
I'm still a full-time college student, though.
Yeah, so you're probably on campus, 3 days a week? 2 to 3, sometimes full days?
Yeah.
It's more manageable.
Yeah. But I'm also supposed to be graduating college early because I had some credits and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I'm a smart cookie.
Straight from that A stuff.
That A stuff is kind of BS, but not really.
If you're trying to save money, it works.
Well, if you get the ACE diploma.
Oh yeah, no, you still get college credit if you pass the test.
Well, true, I did. That's why I'm ahead. But
you didn't pass mine. Just saying.
That's true as well. But also, I was taking 5 ACE tests that year. It was nuts.
So you signed up for them?
Yeah, I was cracked out.
What happened to that
I passed one of them.
What happened to it just go? See?
I passed one of them. I got one out of it.
Oh, that's good. It's good odds.
After a point, they only count for electives.
It depends on where you're going to school.
So if you got all your credits for your electives, then...
Well, that's less to worry about when you're in college.
No, but what I'm
still benefit from it.
Yeah, you can pass your elective courses, but say you have all these tests, right? And then they're only counted towards elective courses. So they're telling you, oh, it's going to count towards reading or it's going to count towards science or something like that. No, it doesn't. Well, it only counts towards elective courses. Depends on where you
went to school.
I'm going to the
what do you call it, the one up the road?
Yeah.
Lake Sumter?
Yeah,
but I don't know what it counts there. I'm talking about uni. When you're at the university.
Well, that's most of the people that went on to the university have their ACE diploma. I also started a year or two late.
Well, yes, I remember I had you in bio.
Because I was dealing with a couple of situations.
Yeah.
But
still, you challenge yourself to take harder courses.
Yeah.
So
you said that before you were in charge of 3 different clubs, and now where you're at now, you're not in charge of any of that. So why did you make that switch?
Well, I think those types of decisions just click in you. When you say you just do and you just go, that type of drive, every major decision in my life has been by a higher hand to where I knew that it was time, it clicked and it had to happen. Mm-hmm. It was time to move on. Mm-hmm. As hard, as emotionally difficult that was. Mm-hmm. Ew. But that was the hardest because when I left Carver, I moved with my group of kids.
Yeah.
So that wasn't as hard. Mm-hmm. But this time leaving, it was really hard because I got so really attached to the kids, what we were doing, the great strides that were made in the clubs and the classroom. I got attached to that. So to leave that means I really it had to come to it. That was it. Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah, I remember you saying it was going to be your last year, and I was like...
it just came over me,
mm-hmm.
This is it. And I was okay. I mean, you had to make peace with it. It was still emotionally hard. It wasn't like, see you kids, you know. It was very hard. That's my alma mater, my community, you know, 5th generation. I mean.
So if you were so proud to be there, why
well, I don't want to think proud, because to me, sometimes pride can be a little
okay, yeah, I understand
self-centered.
that. But I knew you loved it there, so why did you?
I love the kids.
Okay. So it wasn't the job.
And I had some, and I still in touch with work colleagues that, you know, I hold in very high esteem. But I had to go. Yeah. It's like, it's just time. That's it. And you can't negotiate with it. Because I think I thought it, so the year before I thought it was time. But it wasn't, didn't feel right. Something was still not aligning. But this time, I guess the planets aligned or something, and it just
Mercury was in retrograde.
Could have been, I don't know, pink moon for, I don't know. But it just engulfed me.
Yeah, I remember when you made that decision.
Yeah, it was it.
You were upset.
And there's no, I mean, I had a few little catalysts in there that helped confirm it. You know, a few little things that came across my plate that I was like, oh no, you know, that only confirmed what was already in my head and heart.
I think everybody who really, you know, is high up and tries to work on that place and make it a better place kind of has a little bit of catalyst too. Because I've definitely seen some things where I'm like, no, but nobody else realizes it, and they're just like, yeah, let's just push it under the rug type of thing.
Well, one, you got to have a rug for it to be pushed under. But I mean, there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's great things in place. There's great people there. There's great kids, you know, but for me, my purpose on what I was set to do there had come to an end. Yeah. And then the confirmation of it was almost comical. Yeah. Like when I look back on it, going,
what? I remember that day.
Like, no.
You were like, oh, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah, these people don't know me. I was like, if you knew me, that would have never been.
That's the thing is, I hear like everybody, like kids come up to me and they're like, oh, she was a bitch. I didn't like her. I'm like, you don't even know her.
Oh, those are compliments.
You never know her.
No, I mean, I think for me, it's either kids like me or they don't.
No in between.
There has been that way.
Yeah.
And the expectation, I would say, what I've heard from kids is like, oh, it's firm and consistent. I treat, you know, or they could say real, whatever that means. But not everybody's going to like, I mean, that's kind of a hard gig, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, you got to deal with all different types of people.
Yeah, you're dealing with different types of people. And if you have your expectation that every person that comes in your room, and take a 25-year span of teaching, say, you know, almost 3,000 kids in my career, and 100% of them are supposed to like you? No. How's that even, that's an unreal, like, expectation. You know, do I try to make it? Did the kids make it through the class? Sure. And, you know, there were teachers that I didn't care for. During, you know, when I was in high school or even in college. Yeah. But I made it through. You learn from it. Did you get your lesson? Yeah. You know, did you learn something in there? Yeah. Did you, you know, I think sometimes I just always thought that was unrealistic. So when people say, oh, well, you got to build relationships with the kids, sure. But I'm not going to, there's no way to do 100%. Yeah. You know, look at, you've got great leaders out in the world that didn't have 100%. Yeah. You had great humanitarians out in the world that couldn't get 100%. So you can't put that on a teacher.
So, I agree with you.
Jesus didn't even get 100%.
Yep. True.
And hauled him to the cross. So, I mean, so I think sometimes there's expectations of teachers, I think, is a little bit unreal.
I agree. So
But if they called me the B word, the B with an itch, okay, I wasn't.
I'm like, you don't know her then.
I mean, I've been called worse on the highway.
Yeah.
Turning without the blinker,
So
tailgating,
I know 2020 was a hard year for all of us, and we all had a sort of transition during that COVID time. How was that for you?
Well, I think like when we left, I was teaching AP that year. Remember we left for spring break and never came back.
Yep.
And so I had to, and a lot of teachers, and I taught AP. So you had to switch there was no edgenuity for that.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the kids can go on edgenuity and copy and paste the heck out of it. But you couldn't do that for AP.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having to create all of these lessons and tailor it to be able to go digital, all of that. Then the virtual labs that I had, I guess something happened between Adobe and Flash, so none of those worked anymore. And I'm like, this is insane. And I can remember I was in Tennessee, and the kids, we would do the Google Meets or Zoom. There'd be the donkeys in the background, and we'd do the lessons. The kids would chime in. They were working all the way up to exam day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did fair, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
So, and then when we came back, I was split, had to do Lake Live, and I did face-to-face. So, and I'll never do that again, because once again, there were no materials to do Lake Live, to do all that virtual, especially science. You don't have enough resources anyway. You don't have a lot of digital resources. We couldn't go on iReady or whatever those programs, or Algebra Nation. You couldn't do any of that. You had to literally create things. A lot of innovation came from all of that. True that. So that was that. That was 2020. And then during that time, the COVID time, I lost my stepdad to brain cancer. I was up there for that. Went up there for spring break, and it kind of was its own blessing in disguise, because he was already home under hospice care.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm thankful he was home, because everything shut down. And he got to pass at home, and that was its own blessing. Now the funeral was different, because he wasn't planning a graveside, but because of COVID, it had to be graveside, which was nice. It had a nice traditional, military funeral graveside, so that was nice.
Yeah.
So, and then shit just hit it just.
Yeah.
I was hard as it was coming back, COVID. My dear friend, diagnosed with, been battling with cancer, and this was, she was coming back to school, and
Yeah.
seeing, and I knew, and she had helped me through all of that with my stepdad, because they had the same cancer. And so she, was somebody I could call during that time, because it was very, very distressing. And then I think come January 2021, I had, or I think Jaquan came to see me, which Jaquan works, Who's
Jaquan?
Jaquan, he is now the music teacher at Leesburg High School. I've known Jaquan since he was 12.
A music teacher?
At Leesburg High, he's the new choir director. Ms.
He
Striker
is?
retired.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or she moved on, transitioned to another type of job out of education, yeah. So I known him since forever, and then we were doing a FaceTime, like talking to Robert, which another dear student, them two together. We were on doing a Google Meet, and Robert had talked about how he wasn't feeling too well, and we were, chatting it up on Google Meets and all that. Well, within 2 weeks after that call, Robert was in ICU, COVID and Robert passed away, and it was just like, holy I know right where I was standing when that transpired, and I remember right where I was standing at home when I was talking. This was like in February. Robert had, passed. And talking to my mom, standing, I know right where I was in my house, and just couldn't believe that Robert was gone. He was, 26? Jaquan will correct me if I'm wrong. And so that just like blew my mind. That just done. And then April 23rd, I was coming back from the beach with my friends, which I'm pretty sure I took a day off.
Mm-hmm. To have a breather.
I took a mental health day.
Yeah.
And I got a call right there on the road. And it was just, there were so many things that happened because we were held up in traffic on the road coming back from the beach because there was a fatal accident on that darn road, which you shouldn't pass on that road. Don't ever be in a hurry to get to the beach because it's just a dangerous road.
Yeah.
And I remember just that whole visual because later that night, my friends in Tennessee called me and said, that my mom was in the hospital. And, didn't think anything of it because they're like, oh, she's fine. They got her, down there. I'd already talked to mom, a couple days before that. She said that I was just feeling a little under the weather. And that, so I didn't think anything of it. And then 2 days later, they're like, oh, well, she's been diagnosed with COVID. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And my mom had always wore a mask, blah, blah, blah. And first time that so she was going to go back to church.
Yeah.
And first time back in church. I mean, I think she had went to her home church, but she always wore a mask. But at this particular moment that she felt peer pressured to take her mask off because the rest of them hadn't, and she contracted COVID from the pastor. And so did her friend, and they occupied 2 ICU seats up there at the hospital. And I can remember the only administrator that reached out to me was Miss Dimms. And I packed my shit and left. I mean, the principal offered to pay my airfare to get up there via text. And so I was like, I don't know, because I knew I had dogs, and I didn't think it would be bad because they said that she was doing fine.
Yeah. And
so I got up there and she, they said, oh, breathing, oxygen levels are good, all of that. I literally got back down here, and then 2 days later, the doctor called and said, no, you need to come up. We don't even think she's going to make it. I was like, you have got to be shitting me. So here I am loading all my emotional baggage, going back up. Yeah. And it was 2021, and I had to fight I actually got a hold of the head of the hospital. And, well, actually, when I was up there the first time with her, I had talked with her, and I was kind of skeptical about it because the way that they had her quarantined in there was, I'm not going to lie, they done went to Lowe's and got some painter's tape. I am not shitting you. And just got regular plastic, see-through, just regular plastic tart, and it was torn, tattered, holes in it. And they kept saying, well, you can't see your mom because she's in quarantine. It's a quarantine?
This ain't no damn quarantine.
It's a freaking hole right And then they started talking to me about having to have an N95 mask. I was like, are you serious? That nurse just walked by with a SpongeBob mask on. And I know it's not N95. It looks like hosiery. I said, so don't go down that road. It's 2021. Don't tell me. And they had, the PPE is specially designed. No, you don't have PPE with SpongeBob. I said, I want who's in charge at this hospital.
Yeah.
And then laid down my jovial personality. And I, was able to talk to my mom, and my mom's like, oh, Tessa, you need to forgive these people at that church. They don't know any better. I forgive them. You forgive us. Nope, not there yet. And then that's when, and then even when they transported her to ICU to make sure that, so she'd have better care, that all was good because you can Zoom. I'd already came back and Zoom. Mom, I mean, she's on the Zoom talking to me, eating, I don't know, they called it roast beef. I don't know what it was at the hospital. Yeah. And she's just talking and they're all having a good time. And I was just like, but that's the nastiness of that virus. It turned on us like that. And, you know, her lungs turned into spider webs. The way that virus just engulfed her. And there was nothing. I tried everything. I would do everything. Well, you know, they're like, well, we could do this, do it. You know, whatever they suggest, do it. Because I didn't want to not try everything and then have that feeling.
Yeah.
So it was pretty shitty. It was the most it's like when you lose somebody to a car accident. It's unexpected. It's that kind of shit at your door. And you know, it was just and I didn't feel too good about that. And then
I remember
it was rough.
I remember emailing you, and I don't know why I emailed you.
Dinko reached out,
Somebody. No, because somebody had told me, and then I ended up emailing you or something.
I had a bunch of,
Yeah.
wonderful kids reaching out, parents, so, family and all that. Because, what do you say?
But I only ever knew about your mom. I didn't know about the rest of the people.
The emotional train just kept on pulling up to the station that year. Because right after Mom had passed, Miss Jerkins had passed. And I was like, are you kidding me? It just kept... And I knew Tammy, we all knew that Tammy was, ill. And I knew when I saw her in December, I was blessed that we went and had our last TURD outing together, which TURD stands for Teachers Under Real Distress. So we would meet a group of us, and she was a turd. And I was blessed to take her to that last gathering.
Oh, wow.
Because she had to not come to work anymore after the new year started. And then, Forrest had let me know that she had passed. And I was just too emotionally crippled to even attend any, her memorial service. So I then lost Robert, my mom, Miss Jerkins, and then our pastor at our church had passed from COVID. So it was, and then in between all that, just loss of my uncle, it just didn't stop. And I was just like, ill. And then so when I came back to work, I came back I think 2 weeks before school ended.
Yeah.
And then next year, it's just, I don't know. I just think when you're dealing with people that are mourning, there should be some kind of grace for people or understanding. And
isn't it usually that way though? It's supposed to be.
Well, there's what I think, and then there's not how you think things should be. Isn't just
how it is.
How it is, folks. And I just wasn't expecting what I went through at my workplace. It's kind of gross. It made me emotionally just ill. There's just no words for it. And I cannot believe that I endured it. It made me. I rose above it.
So what was so bad?
I could.
What was so bad about it?
I don't know. Just things that were said and how you're treated and certain expectations that only
apply to certain people.
Yeah, or just remarks that are like.
You wouldn't say that to somebody else, but you're saying it to me.
You don't kick a person when they're down.
Yeah.
There's my mind going, come on now.
Yeah.
It was just the constant it just kept driving at me. And I kept, picking myself up. Because I remember Miss Shepherd always said, you ever see crabs in a bucket? And you got crabs in a bucket, and there's always that one crab trying to get out. And you know what the rest of the crabs are doing?
Pulling them down.
Yeah. That just stayed with me. Go, oh, I ain't gonna be those. I'm gonna get that.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Get out of that bucket because I know where they're going in a pot full
Yeah.
of boiling water.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
So I just kept being that crab, holding on to the rim of that bucket,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and needed to see a beak through, you know, and Vicky,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a few others in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, great things happen. Great, you know,
Mm-hmm.
great things. But I think last year, even greater things came into play and great, you know.
Okay, so the workplace for you felt like that, but how do you think?
I don't know what that is. This is why this is called This and That with Kat, because the workplace felt like this and that.
So, if the workplace felt like everything you just said for you, how do you think it felt for the kids? Because I know
I had to work double time because I didn't want that to flow. And sometimes it did probably flow in on them. Sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of great students that, you know, stood by me and gave me support, you know, which is very mature for teenagers to do.
Yeah.
More mature than I've seen adults do.
I think there's definitely a power trip or something going on.
I just want to see the best in the kids. And I think all teachers do, don't get me wrong. No, I'm going to take that back. I don't think all teachers do. You know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids know the difference. Kids feel the difference.
But also, like,
I wasn't always on my best game.
Yeah. If you want to be, why if you want to make money, why would you choose a job as a teacher? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
For me, I was called to it, so it's a different. I went kicking and screaming. Don't you? I can tell you right where I was when that decision. See, when those big things happen in my life, it's coming from up there because it moves me. Like it moves.
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah, because I was on track to do hospital administration, majoring in accounting. So, and I had a job offer in Nashville and I'm still friends with that business leader.
Okay.
Very inspirational person. But I told him, I said, I can't do it because I was sitting at Fort DeSoto another day that I had taken a mental health day back then. But I always went to the beach or somewhere in nature. And I was sitting there looking at, where was that? Egmont Key. Looking at the lighthouse, and it just, bam, came over me. This is what you're going to do. And I remember sitting there in my little sand chair going, are you kidding me? I'm going to be broke my whole life. But it was what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, but it fulfills you.
So I packed up. I mean, I moved like that, you know, and it moved, like you said, you move. And I knew that I was going to have side hustles. I knew I was going to have to work hard. I knew that my kid, I'm going to have to do all this to make sure my kid grows up, you know, well-rounded.
Yeah. But I think you've definitely impacted a lot of kids.
Positive or negative?
I'd say mostly positive.
I think that over my career, I got more good. The good outweighs the bad.
Definitely.
You know.
Except for that last year.
This past last year?
Yeah.
Stickler for it, but there we are. I don't know. I've always been. I always rally around the kids because I don't want to hover I don't want to be that hover over kids. Because by I get middle school and elementary, you know, you have kids, but by high school, y'all should be. You need a little more space, and that's another thing kids say. Oh, Ms. Clark, you give us space, and space in a grade book, maybe space.
Got a couple of those.
But to see kids grow into their leadership roles or to start finding out who they are or to see what they can do on their own. If you're standing over them all the time, you don't see what they can do. And a lot of times it's scary though, but you got to trust the kids and see what they can do. And it's a deep breath because sometimes you get bit by it. Sometimes, you know, the kids grow either way. But I could never I didn't do it with my kid. And I think you grow better. I didn't want to keep kids in pots. Y'all need to have healthy roots. And you can't get that in a pot. You have to be able to branch out.
So how did you know it was time to leave?
Every time there's a big moment in my life,
God
it just comes from
there.
above.
Yep.
It just happens. And when those moments, there's no negotiating it. Because I tried to going, well, maybe. And I think maybe certain things were sent out to me for that confirmation. Like maybe that made me go, no, there's no way I can see that working in my world. And, you know, so I think now where I am, it allows my brain to unpack and kind of, you know, I don't know. A part of me is like, well, that's pretty brave and courageous.
Yeah.
You know, you spent most of your career in this area. You literally just did it. Like, and I remember when I did it, I was like, I went in the car and I cried going, holy shit. I just did it.
And now you're finally out.
Well, you made it sound like a prison sentence. It's
Yeah,
like,
it was.
No, I mean, I think some of that stuff I probably, because of where I was emotionally,
I think it was the people.
It made me more susceptible to a little more BS than what I should have dealt with. Yeah, you know, because I was in another spot.
Yeah, because you were trying to deal with other things, but at the same time, people were coming at you.
Yeah, but I know that I wouldn't do that to people. And I try to think, oh my gosh, so that's just, you know, and then I've seen things that kids have had to endure while being in leadership roles that I didn't feel they needed to endure. That it was just, it's not how you.
You can't level up kids. You can't try and pull a power trip on kids.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, you're not the bigger person.
No,
you think you are, but this person's half your age and you're over here trying to, pick at them.
And as you go through, you know, I remember my 20s when I was working in healthcare, you know, that happened, came across someone like that. And there's a certain character trait that they all possess that you can't fix that.
You can't tell them.
No, it's gonna take.
They're blocked.
It takes a higher power on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, as y'all go through life, you're gonna have jobs. You know, you're gonna see things that work that don't.
Man, I already saw that.
And I come from a different generation of training, so. Yeah.
After the little thing I had with,
I've only worked for three great people in my whole career working.
Really? It's kind of crazy.
Like people that move you, like
people that push you to do
that
better.
On a higher level. That they grow you. They grow you, not control you. They grow you.
Yeah.
And you can, and they stay, and it stays with you forever because of the impact that they had. And it's a leadership trait that they have that makes you want to do better and improve, and they provide the space for you to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
But you guys are young, you'll go through all kinds of, but really I've only had 3, and I've been working since I was 16.
I remember going through that.
And I'm still in touch with all 3. See? They just stick with you.
I remember going through that with, what's his name?
Yeah, you tell me, what's his name?
There he goes. The lovely band director.
Yeah, so when you endure things like that, those types of situations that
beat you down,
and It's how you rise from it, though.
I agree.
Sometimes you sometimes you can spring back up. Sometimes you rise like this. Eventually. What takes some people faster to rebound from it may take someone else longer because we're all different.
Yeah.
But to have an expectation that, oh, you should be 3 months, you should be good. No, maybe for that person.
Yeah.
But so sometimes humans have a tendency to put time limits on mourning or trauma, and think that, oh, you should be fine.
But I feel like when you get manipulated enough, there comes a point where you're like, I'm not going to put up with this again.
You get a little bit of grit.
Yeah, you're like, if this ever happens again, there's no way I'm putting up with it.
Sometimes you get jaded. I get a little jaded, and that's how I was feeling. I don't like how I feel. I don't like how this is and...
But then I go, who's making me feel that way, and why do I feel this way? Sometimes it's myself. I'm the reason that I feel this way. But other times it's other people, and I'm like, I ain't putting up with this.
Yeah,
Bye.
There's certain triggers, and so if you can pick up on that type of negative energy or that vibe, then you need to find a way to remove yourself from that. I mean, because there's plenty of negative out there in the world.
And I've done that a couple times.
You gotta remove yourself, and that's why certain people are in your life for a season. Some, and they're there for that season only, you know. And then sometimes, like when you're young, you think that you're in this season and you think you can go back to the previous season, and those friends aren't the same because their moment in your life was meant for
that moment.
And even though you still know them in your adult life, it's just that's where they are, and that's okay. I had a hard time in my young 20s dealing with that. Going, what? We're not friends anymore? But it wasn't like ill, like it was just where things were. There
was a season I went through recently where I
handled it poorly, but okay.
Yeah. But there's this person I had in my life, and this was towards the end of this year, so I didn't really see that much.
That boyfriend?
No, not that boyfriend. Anyways, this season I went through was this guy who found his way into my life, and he was one of the worst people I could possibly ever imagine. And he literally told me the only reason he wanted to be friends with me was because he knew that I didn't like him at all, and he found his one way to just get into my life.
Ew.
And he became friends with me. We became very close friends, and he ended up manipulating me, saying a lot of things.
Oh, he had already manipulated you from the get-go.
I know.
You look at it.
I know. But he just manipulated me.
Dude, that's gross.
I know. And then one day, he was just an awful, awful person, lied about his entire life story, everything. And one day, I didn't know this, but we were still friends, and I was driving alongside the road, whatever. And I've been through some stuff in my life. But he had too, and I recognize his story, and I value that. You have your own story, and I understand that. But we were driving, and I'm driving along the road, and he's over here, yeah, well, this happened to me, and this happened to me. And I kid you not, I stopped in this parking lot. I turned to him, and I said, pick a struggle. Pick a struggle.
That's right, pick a struggle.
Because we all go through struggles. We all go through things in our life. And I'm tired of you sitting over here going through all this bullshit of your long list of stuff that you've been through in your life, when in reality, everybody in this car has been through stuff too.
And how old are y'all again to go through all this stuff? I mean, there's more to come.
So. I know that. I'm prepared for that. But I've been through a lot of stuff, and you know about some of that. But I was like, I'm not putting up with this. Pick a struggle, because I can't deal with it anymore. He just kept going on and on about all of his list of problems. And turns out half of his list of problems
Did he have a spinner wheel? Was it like that?
Yes. Half of his list of problems were just lies that he made up. He just made it up.
Oh, so he had
he moved from a different place, came here.
Struggle.
And had lies. All types of lies that he wanted to tell people about his life that weren't even true. But he was like, oh, I'm sad because of this. And he did it so well that you would believe it. And it was
so young
nuts.
to already have that talent.
I know. And it was nuts.
How do you acquire that? I had a stalker when I was in high school.
That's crazy.
And it lasted well after high school. It was quite alarming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's its own little trauma. And how the school did nothing.
Yeah. Schools tend to do
well,
nothing.
they did as much as they could given the day and age that it was. And that during that time when you didn't hear about school shootings or things like that, that was the year that person had made a threat to shoot people during graduation.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. My parents thought I was crazy. And I was like, no, you'll see. I remember them pulling us out of school. I know right where I was at school, which hallway I was in when that came across, to me. So I take, behaviors on campus. I'm a little hypersensitive to certain things. But I know what it's like to be stalked to where I had to transfer jobs to another city.
Oh, wow.
I had to there was two of us being stalked, and then the other person had to, and wherever you went, and this is before all this digital stuff. So how that person did it is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But when you go to leave work and you see that person in the parking lot waiting for you and following you home, running you off the road. I was over there in part of Leesburg. I don't know right where it was,
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. So when kids have problems and they start talking about things, I kind of listen a little more in tune to stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not a today you can report that stuff
but they still don't do anything.
But I mean, there's like more hotlines. There's more ways to reach out.
I mean, they help, but not always the way you think.
Back in the 80s, it was like, it was handled different.
There was nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Barren.
Yeah, you just dealt with it, and it was kind of like crappy, and then your parents don't expect that because they don't what I'm saying. There's no but nowadays, because you got cyber stalking, you got a lot of Fruit Loops out there.
Fruit Loops.
So there's more.
I've had a couple Fruit Loops.
Yeah, there's more resources.
Yeah. So
there's more access to getting help.
But the crazy part is,
and the school's you got more resources at school. Back when I went to school, no one knew where the guidance department was.
But the crazy part is I talked to the cops a lot during my time, more than I should have during school. And you know what everyone told me? They're like, you're a snitch. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to snitch on nobody. I don't care what you do. That's your business. But as soon as you start to involve me, and start messing up my life and messing with who I am as a person and diddling with kids, then I got a problem. Y'all calling me a snitch. You would have done the same thing.
I don't call that snitching. I call that standing up and doing what's right.
That's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I don't care about your little side hustle if you're dealing whatever on the side. I don't care about that. But if you start involving me and people I love and care about, then my first reaction is going to be go tell somebody who knows what to do, because I don't know what to do.
Yeah, so you guys, I'm thankful that there's more resources out there for that, and because you got more to deal with. Yeah. You got face-to-face type kids that are ugly acting. You got cyber ugly acting. It comes at you at all these different platforms now. Yeah. And then you have to be able to process that. And that's where you got to have that grit. You got to, we're not saying suck it up and put it under the rug. No, you're going to stand up and shake out that rug. And I'm not saying do harm to someone. I'm saying you have to keep building. You got to take control of it, or it will consume you. Yeah. And it's hard. And you guys have it harder than my generation. My generation, I think you just smack somebody and move on. I mean, they still fought in the church parking lot, but you just duked it out. And you knew to do it off campus. Kids today, I don't know why they do it on campus. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
I got in a fight one time.
Yeah.
Nope, twice.
Twice?
Yeah,
Oh
one
my
in
gosh.
middle school, and I got up paddling. That wasn't really a fight. I was kind of being bullied in the locker room, and this girl, she was just so mean, and I was such a passive person, and the only way I could get even with her is I picked up a live roach and threw it down her shirt, and she went all hysterical in the gym.
Savage.
Yeah. No one messed with me because, like, dang, she picked up that bug. But I got 3 licks from that.
Oh wow.
And then I got a paddling.
But it was worth it.
Yeah, they never messed with me again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because they knew I'd pick up anything. They didn't care. Maybe it'd be a snake next time. Don't know. She picked up that roach. And then I got one at the high school. What did I do at the high school? Oh, smarted off to the teacher. Got 3 licks for that.
Oh.
She was so mean to me.
I ain't gonna put up with people.
She said I had an attitude. That's all it took back then. There was 3 licks right there. I was in Building 1 main office where they did it. They didn't care if everyone saw you getting it either. But they say bend over. You grab that wood chair. They got this big old paddle. Bam, bam, bam. Move on. I guess I did have an attitude. Of course, I mean, I was a freshman. Everyone had an attitude.
Yeah.
I had that tone. That smart mouth. Hard to believe, huh?
You still do. You still do.
I'm still quick with it.
Yeah.
I have to know my audience. I'm at this new school going, I gotta,
You gotta reel it in.
Gotta reel it in. Too soon. Soon. These kids might be a little more tender.
Yeah.
So, because I'm real quick with it, and that I know I am good at. I'm real good
I know. I know. I've experienced it.
I have to say that might be a gift. Yard work, no. Quick with it, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, at new school, I'm like, I gotta learn my new habitat here.
Yeah. But you like it better.
The kids are the same. Just saying, because we're teenagers.
But you like the environment.
There's not much. The behaviors are the same, but it's less frequent and less intense. Okay. And I like certain structures in place that help me. And then because that part helps me, I can do more with the kids. I mean, it's the same courses. I mean, I'm teaching the same thing. And the kids are, I will say this, it feels like I'm in an 80s movie. Like maybe it's weird. The kids, it's just different. They still have problems, don't get me wrong,
But they're...
I don't know. It's like if I'm with y'all all day, if I'm with SGA, Key Club, and Science and HS kids and ACE kids, that's my whole day all the time.
That sounds awesome.
It's those personalities, but I still cannot, I gotta watch. I still don't know them enough to the humor area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
But personality-wise, or the energy vibe is all of y'all. And which is what I had at Leesburg High. I just don't have, there's just more structures in place and a different energy level that doesn't keep wrecking on my brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
There's just certain supports in place. And even for the kids, there's just certain things in place that I like things more organized. I'm not bashing those at my old school, because there's a lot of great people there that are highly organized, and do great things. I'm just saying, for me, I needed to have.
I get it.
Certain things. There were certain amenities that were missing that I needed to get at Hotel Lake Mineola. Which are fine, the kids, it's the same, they're teenagers. I didn't do my homework, of course you didn't. It's the same thing. I will say my one class is a little more too quiet than what I'm used to. Like quiet, like, do y'all talk it all day, or, they even quietly walk down the hall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Well, when they say, please stop for a moment of silence, Then all those kids stop and it's quiet. Like, I'm like looking around going, what happened?
Are you dead? Poking
I'm
him
like
with a stick?
around. I feel like I'm in a Jordan Peele film. I'm like, what? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And they just, I don't know. They just
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't, I haven't found anybody sitting on the floor in the bathroom eating a sandwich.
They do that a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. You know, and I don't know, it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any stories of the kids?
The current ones?
Not the current ones that you have now, but like, do you have a couple of your favorite stories from?
Oh, I have
your
so
years of
many.
teaching?
I have so many, and I don't want to be biased. Because Jaquan knows all of our stories. And Dietrich, I got a lot of great kids that have moved on and are great leaders in the community here in Lake County. And I have so many. I don't know. I remember when the tornadoes touched down in Lady Lake.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, 2007? And I remember my little science club. We call them Squirrel Scouts because we're nuts about the environment. And
Okay.
but we worked with a school, I think, in Ohio to assemble all these care packages and to see these. And I think that's what did it for me. These middle school students, seeing them move outside themselves to help others and rallying to get those care packages to those families in Lady Lake. I think that's what really put me going, I think these kids can do more out in their community. I think they need to start expanding themselves, and I'm still in touch with those kids. And what are they, pushing 30?
Yeah.
I think they're 30 now. Yeah. What is that? You know, because my daughter's 33, so yeah, they're in there. So I've just field trips, road trips, going to the beach. We've been doing beach cleanups forever.
Yeah, I went on one of those.
Yeah. So I said, well, if we can teach all these kids to just pick up or do one small thing for the environment, then we're moving in the right direction. And the kids just want to have fun, and then they're doing a good service. So we had some great field trips, some great events. I had great parents that were always, you know, supportive and always going on those trips, or, you know, and it was always just crazy, just singing in the van.
I have a video of that.
Did we break down in the van? No, but there's all of that.
You remember?
I've taken kids to DC.
Do you remember that one beach trip we went on? Someone's car broke down or something?
There's always a car that breaks down. Always.
Oh,
That's
really?
why I get those parent notes. I had one, Johnny, he knows who he is. He knows exactly. We were driving, I've got the van, and then all of a sudden, I see a cloud of smoke behind us. And I was like, what is going on? The kids were like, oh, that's Johnny's car. And he had been driving on a rim. He done lost a tire a long time ago.
Bro, what?
He's like, I just wanted to keep up. I'm like, really? So we've had breakdowns, you know, kids getting speeding tickets, you know, a lot of cars break down. And
one year someone hit someone else.
Yeah. Oh, I know that year.
I know.
So, and then just taking kids on leadership conferences and just seeing them just grow and really enjoy that. I always believe that field trips and those experiences, kids really get to really grow exponentially, because it worked for me as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember my field trips out in the environment and doing stuff like that, and it really stayed with me. And I was like, I'll give that back to the kids. You know, and so we've gone horseback. I've done horseback riding trips. Got in trouble for that one. They know who they are, because bus broke down, or it couldn't go over 30 because something was wrong. So we were late getting back. Back then, I think we just had flip phones, and maybe one cell tower, so you couldn't really get a hold of people like you can today.
Yeah.
And so we were back, and we were dirty because of the horseback ride. We were in the Kissimmee, you know, dirt necks, you know, the whole thing. I remember that parent was so mad at me because her kid was late for their oboe lesson.
Hobo.
Oboe, not hobo. And I love this kid today still, parent too, just got over it and, made amends, always forgiven. Parents said, well, my kid defended you. I was like, so, but it wasn't my fault, but I mean, I could have done better reaching out. And it's always been when we're on some kind of field trip is where the kids you can really see the growth in the kids and just them having a good time. I got one that we went to go see. I took the kids to Big Cat Rescue before Tiger King was a thing.
Okay.
So when it came out, I had my former students go, oh, Ms. Clark, we went there. When, because Tiger King came out during the COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
And everyone was binge watching that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I took the kids to Carol's cat sanctuary, I was like, maybe we saw the cat. But I took them there. We've been desalination plant. We've gone some places. We've done some great things, great memories. Take them to the city.
So what
Sewer.
do you have any like personal stories of students that you've?
Well, a lot of them I'm stuck with, like, I don't know what you mean. Like, I had one of them I remember we did, because we've done field trips down to the south end of Florida. We've done Tampa trips, and those kids have gone with us, and those kids are still stuck with Henshaw and I, which Henshaw and I are like two peas in a pod. I mean, he now works in Texas, but we were always the teacher parents, if you call it that. There was just something about those kids that just stayed with us. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. I've had kids that they've had some bad things happen in their lives, and one of them he was going off to jail. He was a middle schooler, and he was happened to, his brother had committed a murder, and because he was there, he got sentenced as well. And that kid gave me a hard time, but that kid knew deep down I like that kid too. He may have given me a hard time in gray hairs, but I enjoyed him. But I remember him coming to see me, and I asked him, I said, well, how'd you get on campus? I jumped the fence. I was like, now I was at the middle school, and he said, I'm coming to say bye because I'm going to jail for a while.
Wow.
And I was just like blown away. One, that he was going to jail, because I thought because he was a minor that he wouldn't, but the nature of the crime was, he was definitely in the wrong place at the wrong time. He didn't do the crime. He didn't do it. All right. But, I've kept in touch with him, and he's, got his life together. He's not living around here, which is good. He's got a kid. I think he's got a wife. Lives up, up north in another state, and he's always been special to me. And I've been, and we kind of keep up, kind of like a Facebook thing now. And I've had a couple that, they give me a hard time, but there's something that I still enjoy about them. It may be a shout, and you may have to, some kids just, I had one kid, I got in trouble at middle school. He went home and said something, and then I asked him, and then I got in trouble by the principal. Not like trouble, but I had to have a talking in the parent conference and all that. And the kid told me the next day, he's like, man, I had to throw you under the bus, Ms. Clark, because if I wanted to go fishing that weekend, and if I had told my mom the truth, I wouldn't have been able to go fishing. I was like, are you serious? I got in trouble because you needed to go fishing? Yeah. And then he turns around and says, well, can I get extra credit on this test? I was like, no, you ain't getting anything. Just, no. And he's doing great. And I mean, I got some kids that really, the ups and downs, some of them are in some nice leadership positions in the community and doing great things, and we laugh, have good cries, and all of it. So there was only one time in my entire career where I called Henshaw and said, I told him where I was going to be, because I was like, this is the first time I was like a little bit nervous. This kid was trying to get out of a gang in another county, and was over in this county. And I remember him asking if I would take him home because my car wouldn't be recognized in the community, and he could get home safely. And I was like nervous. I did it. I white knuckled it the whole way, going, but I knew he needed to get home safe.
Yeah.
And and I got him there. And I don't know where he is now, but I hope he's somewhere safe. But yeah, that was the scariest moment. I've taken kids home most of my career. Jaquan. Oh. Well, it was no big deal back then. I was at Uber before Uber happened. It was no big deal for parents. Oh, Miss Clark, you take so-and-so home, because you kind of like know. And I think it was a little bit easier for me because if you had them in middle school, and then you move with them in high school, you're kind of, you feel like somebody's aunt, and parents are, nowadays, you can't, I've taken a few kids home, but that's me calling the parent, or I know the parent, I have some kind of connection with that parent.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just times are different now. It's sad. I had a kid tell me that cucumbers grew on trees. He argued with me. I was like, no, that is not what you were seeing. He's like, yes, I was down in South Florida, and those cucumbers were hanging off the trees. I'm like, dude, man, those are avocados. Those aren't cucumbers. And you get his argument. Like, you want to argue with me? I had a kid tell me the sun was a planet. I mean, they argue. It's not like they're just. I mean, they're digging their heels in.
Oh my god!
I was like, well, what proof do you have that the sun is a planet?
Yeah.
I read it where. I want to know where.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, somewhere. And then, I got one last year. This is a recent one. I had a kid, we were sitting in class, right? And I don't know what the kids were working on something. And out of nowhere, a kid says, there was something going on. Topic had to be, we were doing evolution, right? Common ancestry and all that. And they were doing, about the adaptations of chimpanzees, right? Here it came. The kid goes, Ms. Clark, you know that chimpanzees can talk? I was like, well, what do you mean, like sign language? Because I know that you can, no, carry on a conversation. I said, they're like humans? Like a conversation? Yes, Ms. Clark, I saw it. I was watching a documentary. And I was like, I said, I need to see this documentary. I kid you not. She pulled up the documentary, and I had kids witnessing it. It was Planet of the Apes. And the kids even stopped and looked at her.
Oh my god!
I mean, when your peers freeze, I know I'm in the right. I know I'm good, because I was like, no, that's not documentary, and that is computer generated images.
Yeah.
CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can talk. Oh, because she went on to say, well, they're riding horses. Yeah, they taught them. I said, they don't have the brain capacity like we do. I mean, you can't tell them, oh, hey, Billy the chimp, go down there and get me a gallon of milk. No, they can't do that.
Yeah.
But they can do simple, sign language and all that. But yeah, she was dead serious. Like I said, when their age group freezes and makes a comment, then
that's how you know.
Yeah, that's how you know I'm good. And then I had one girl, the water tower was telling me that, it was a sewer. And I was like, no, that's just like a giant straw. It's sucking all your fresh, it's your water.
Yeah.
Oh, this time, Ms. Clark, I thought it was a sewer.
Cool.
I can tell you. But when they argue, and then I think Henshaw and I, one kid asked, and this kid's in law enforcement today. Great kid. Great. But we'll never forget when he said, do our plants warm-blooded or cold-blooded? And it just, it's like you freeze in time. because you don't know how to respond to that. I was like, well, when I cut it open, you think it bleeds or something? No. You know, I think with those moms that you hear things like plants have vascular tissue, because we have that. Well, still, but he did make a point. He goes, well, this one plant I opened up, when you open it, it's got white, and it's like milk coming out of it. Oh, that's poison, but okay. Oh, because you would come into class. Oh, no, we're not talking about you clogging up the cement team, the sink pipes in the back. No. And then you got all emotional because I got on to you. You freaking put cement in the sink. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to say, that's a great job, Kat. I'm so proud of you. Part of Bill knows a relationship. No, I'm taking off teacher hat, putting on the mom hat, and going, what the hell did you put cement in the sink?
It wasn't cement, it was dirt.
No, it turned into cement.
That wasn't my fault.
No, it's you thinking, oh, I'm going to clean up this plant that I'm growing back here in Miss Clark's little hothouse, and I'm going to clean it by just dumping the soil in the sink.
But it worked.
No, they had to call maintenance.
Okay, but still.
That sink was out of commission.
I know.
Yeah, I had to tape it off, you know? I mean, they did fix it before I transferred. That way I wouldn't, feel bad.
That's good.
Yeah, and I had to go like,
no.
I mean, that thing was solid, though. Nothing would go down it anymore.
I know.
I mean, I didn't know this whole time you were taking care of the plants and giving them baths in the sink.
I didn't even put that much dirt down there. It wasn't like a lot of dirt. It was just like some...
The whole sink was like chalked up with dust and everything that, whatever. I still have that plant at my house.
I knew I screwed up whenever I tried to pour
and then
Drano.
You got emotional. Oh, and then she got emotional and tried to make amends.
I tried to pour the Drano down the sink.
She goes and buys something at Walmart that she thinks will work because it's got a picture of a sink going like that. Squirts that down there and it did nothing because it just bubbled up. How clogged it was.
It didn't even go down.
You couldn't even snake that. You couldn't even put one of those snakes. It was just solid. Solid.
I know.
So is that, I mean, where you'd come in during lunch. So it was emotional, all the time. We would just banter. You'd have something. Oh no, I'd read your poems or your essays.
You'd make fun of me a lot.
Yeah. I'd read her essays in my cartoon voice.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Roses are red. Because you'd come in with something and I'd be like, we would laugh so hard about it because once you unpack whatever it was you were talking about, you could see the stupidity in it, maybe. The silliness of it. Yeah. And it's better to just laugh it off than to take that stuff serious.
Yeah.
I mean, it did me service because it got me laughing.
Yeah.
Because whatever you brought in, I knew it was going to be a laughable moment, because I knew it wasn't going to make sense. I knew it was going to be, so you kind of helped me through my grief because you could come in during lunch with whatever baggage you were bringing in with you.
I had a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I remember was it freshman year or sophomore year that you introduced the F word in class?
Probably sophomore year.
Yeah, I thought you could use it at every breath.
Yeah, you know why though? Because I was going through it.
So that was like you drew that word out of a hat and said, "This is it. This is my therapy word."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, because remember, I was all Jesus while I was going through that weird cult thing.
Oh, and yeah. That went.
And then after the Jesus thing, I was like so hardcore not Jesus. And then that's when I implemented the F word.
The mini stages.
Yeah. But there were reasons for all of them. I didn't just
there's always a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I think when people go through those things, you got to find you're just, it's like being in a maze. You're just trying to, you'll find your way out.
Yeah.
Some people are quicker at it than others.
Some people
take more time. So folks shouldn't be so
quick to judge. You were my only friend. Well, one of my only friends. You know why? Because nobody else.
You went next door to the other teacher.
Oh, Pressy? Yeah,
she was mad at me. She'd go in there because I didn't bend
That's not true.
I wouldn't tell her what she wanted to hear.
That's not true. I tried to split up my time evenly.
Sometimes when I read your stuff, it was garbage.
You're so mean. Quit.
here's me. I always think of American Idol. Someone's been telling some of those people their whole lives they sing great, and then they get in front of millions of people, and they sound, and it's horrible. And I think, why couldn't somebody have been honest with that person and just say it? Just like the folks with a booger on their nose, say it. I'd rather someone tell me you got a dangler instead of let me go all day.
That's a good point.
Or if your zipper's down, say it. Why don't you help it? If you're my friend, you'd say it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's plenty of that out in the world.
Good point. Good point.
If I would have told you, if I would have made up and said, oh, that's, and never gave you would have gone on with a false sense of
I guess you're right. So thank you.
See, it works.
Yeah, it works.
It's like a myth opportunity.
Yeah.
Myth, not a mist, but a myth is that you think you've been told this, or everyone gets a ribbon, that whole, mindset thing. And everyone's great at this. No.
Not everyone's great
Not everyone's great at everything. You got to find your spot. I thought I was going to be an astronaut when I was in middle school. And I'm thinking, once that wore off and I saw the math you had to do, no, I just like the idea of the space shuttle. I didn't want to gyrate. I didn't like all of that. I knew I was going to throw up. I knew I can't even sit in a simulator at a theme park without getting nauseated. I'm not going up on a space shuttle.
Yeah.
Then I thought I was going to be, when Top Gun came out, the first round, my generation, I'm going to be an Air Force pilot. No. I just like going to air shows. See?
Let me tell you
a difference.
I got a story.
I didn't want to do the math.
I got a story you haven't heard yet. So I went for my flight lesson. When was this? Friday?
At Dave & Buster's. That's pretty good.
That was good. But I went for my first one of my.
You made level 2?
It's like my 5th something flight lesson.
How many tokens does that take you?
Tokens? 4.
4 tokens.
Yeah. So, anyways, I went flying, and we're up in the sky. We're flying, and it's just me and my instructor, right? And when you're flying,
you farted, didn't you?
No, I didn't. It was worse. So I'm flying.
Did you burp and crack the glass?
I'm flying to the left. You fly in the pilot seat where you go for your lessons or whatever. He flies in the other seat, but he can still correct everything.
Yeah, it's a 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm flying.
It's like 2 players at Dave & Buster's. I understand.
So then he's like, "We're gonna do a power off stall," and I've seen the videos, so I was expecting. It
does that where you turn everything
off.
Hold on.
Well, I was expecting it. I'm gonna explain it. So I was expecting it. So I knew it was about to happen. So basically, what happens is he pulls the plane up, like he pulls the yoke back and he pulls it up, and then what it does is it brings the plane up like this.
Right.
It brings the nose all the way up, and eventually you get to that point where it starts beeping and flashing, and there's a horn that comes out, means you're about to spin out, type of thing.
So when they say spin
out, it's like the point where the plane gives out.
Like you stall the engine.
Yeah, exactly. So we're pulling back, and we get to that point, and you hear the horn, and we're like this. And next thing you know, I don't even know what he did in this moment. All I know is the plane, next thing you know, was like this. Literally went down. And I kid you not, I screamed so loud. And we have our headsets on, so I'm screaming right into his headsets.
And
I grab onto his arm. I was so scared.
Oh, I just shit myself.
Because we went like this to this, and like no time at all.
It's like that. It's like being on Shikra at Busch Gardens, that free fall drop that you feel in your gut.
Yes.
Or right before the Hulk launches.
It was so scary. Except you're strapped in there. Here we're up in the sky. And he's like, you're going to have to practice this. Like, this is the thing you have to learn.
Do they put you in a simulator to practice before? Or
you can be in a simulator, but...
See, I'd get sick of that, so see?
But I was just scared. And afterwards, he was like, holy shit, that was awesome. And he's just laughing at me the entire time. And we kept laughing for like the next 5 minutes because of the way I just screamed. It was great.
No. I've been on it's a little Cessna, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Cessna 172.
Yeah, same. I've been on a Cessna. You can feel every bump in the air pocket.
Well, yeah,
everything.
it's a little.
Well, it's like being in a semi on a dirt road. they make me nervous because I'm like, when that sucker goes down, that's it.
That's why they teach you this stuff.
Well, do you have a parachute? Any way of getting out?
No.
Or are you too low that there's no need to have a parachute? You just go on to heaven.
Well, they teach you that so that way whenever you're coming in for a landing and like say something happens and
they
you
land
need to pull
like
up
this.
real quick.
They come in like that.
We did that actually. Yeah. He came in like this. We're coming in the runways here and he comes in like this and just lands and I'm like.
It's like the rescuers down under.
Yeah.
That cartoon. Coming in. They don't make you nervous. Well, I mean, that's good.
It does scare
So you're going
me.
to go from a Cessna to what? Commercial?
Yeah, commercial. A big plane.
Well, those are autopilot, so that's nice.
No, but you still have to learn a lot.
Well, I hope so.
It's $60,000 worth of training that you have to go through just to get your multi-engine and stuff.
As a consumer of air flights, I would want you highly trained.
Okay.
I would like to pilot. I would like one day for a pilot to get on the intercom to where I can understand them when they're talking to you, because every time I hear them, it sounds like this. I'm like, oh, okay, what did he say?
Yeah.
He probably said we're going down. But I never understand them.
Yeah.
I never.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they can pre-record it.
Or maybe you should fly Spirit.
No. No.
I'll be a Spirit Airlines pilot.
So you'll be never on time.
Crash.
Delayed.
Or I'll be on, what's that one airline where the door
Big Bird coming up.
off?
I don't know. Frontier. I don't know.
I think it was United. The door just fell off.
Well, I flew United to Australia.
Oh.
I mean, I prefer Qantas, but Qantas has lost its mind on its airfare. If you had to build your own if you had to have your own airline, what amenities would you have?
Amenities?
Yeah, like me. You want chef inspired, Chef Boyardee, please.
Yeah.
Lean cuisine, Stofers. Yeah.
I want a spa
Marie
on
Callender.
an airplane.
Yeah, I want.
I'd want a spa. That's what I'd want on an airplane.
No, I think there should be treadmills upstairs, like on international flights. Somewhere I should be able to just exercise. Or if you're on an international flight, I'm sorry, that little thing they have for you to elevate your feet. No, let's get real. That thing doesn't, I don't know where it is. And, and thank God I'm short because I can sit in economy and have plenty of leg room. But I think they could do better at the elevation type for your feet.
Yeah.
I don't think that will throw their specs off. And if they're talking about the weight of the plane, once again, they don't care about the weight of the person, just the weight of the bag.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
When you take up 2 seats, you should pay for 2 seats.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to.
No, you don't.
I think you should.
Some people get away with that. They pay for 1 seat and they take up 2. It's like, go to the gym.
Well, why don't they do theme parks? Theme parks now have extra large seats.
They do?
Well, yeah, if you want to ride the Hulk and you're a little Hulk yourself. They have the bigger seats.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Because I asked them, what are these? It's for, plus size seats. I was like, oh,
isn't that
this whole time I've been losing weight so I can ride in the regular seat and I didn't have to. I can ride in the plus size seat.
Let me go get those extra
That's my weight loss goal, is to make sure I can fit in those theme park seats on rides.
I'm supposed to be going next Thursday.
You'll see are you going to Universal?
No, I'm going to Busch Gardens.
Oh.
For Halloween or
they got
cream.
So go look at Montu and Kumba. They'll have those seats. And it'll say
plus size.
I don't know how politically correct they say
plus size.
What do they call it?
Plus size. Plus size.
Does it say plus size for real?
Yes, it's plus size. Everything's plus size.
Does it have a big plus on it? I just know that when the Hulk, I don't remember it saying, I just remember it said
for
large capacity. No.
For people who have less metabolism.
Yeah, what do you
call
slower
metabolism.
That? So yeah, metabolically challenged. Yeah, can't get off the couch challenge. But if they can do that for a theme park, I don't know why they can't make those seats. It's an international flight. To me, I felt like they used the best they can do plane. given the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
And I remember my layover was in Denver, which was fine because I took the little public train to downtown Denver where everybody's just freely smoking their dope out in public. And I was like, I'm going to walk through every one of those little clouds. That way I'm relaxed taking my international flight. It was weird because I was like, man, look at this. Just like being, they're just all having a good time.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, if I'd own a snack truck, if in that area, like an ice cream truck, it would just go around town, kind of like Uber Eats.
You'd make so much money.
It'd be like Uber Eats, but it'd be like the ice cream truck, playing maybe Jimi Hendrix music or something. Be all purple. I call it the purple haze, and then it would have all these snacks that end in O's: Doritos, taquitos. Burritos.
Okay.
Oreos.
Okay.
All right. So, it would be called the Purple Haze. And all you have to do is dial up the Purple Haze, right?
Yeah.
I pull up in my little snack truck, and all them little high folks can come out and get all their...
I did that in high school.
I'd even have Cheerios because I know there'd be one person high that would want cereal.
I did that in high school. I sold, my freshman year, I sold bread. Lots of bread. $250.
Just bread?
Just bread. Banana bread, cinnamon bread, chocolate bread.
This whole time thinking a loaf of white bread.
Well, I wanted to make extra money. I made like $250 or something. Kids are like, here, I charge them $2 a slice.
Oh, you can sell anything to kids.
I know.
And you make a killing.
And they were all high most of the time.
I think I could sell cans of corn.
Good point.
Is it candy corn? No, it's close. It's in the corn family. You'll be fine. It's dark out, so
yeah, so we're leaving.
You can't really see me, and I still have my sunglasses on. But look at the clouds in the background.
I know, it's so pretty. Bye, y'all. See you next time.
Toodles.